If she wanted to, she would. Men have caught on to the actions of women in Western society, to the way they operate, to the way they think. Basically, men have come to the conclusion that to understand these individuals, you simply have to, you know, basically expect the worst while hoping for the best. And a lot of guys, they just expect the worst and they don't hope for anything at all. I'm just being very honest with you. That is the reality that women have created in Western society, as men are now firmly entering into their soft guy era. Broke girls are now me tooing even their friends. They are on a rampage. Let's check out this email I received. It says, Angry, did you hear about this news article? Title IX is back, and M2 is coming back with more venom than ever. Take a look at this article if you get the chance. What every man is Whatever man is left in college or university is screwed, because now, with all that has happened in the 2020s, women will be out for revenge and to collect their bag even more. Now, many of you will recall that I made a video about this months ago saying that M2 Part 2 was on the way, and it has not even gotten started yet. I predicted this right off the bat. I told you guys, you can look back. I told you M2 Part 2 was on the way, and they were going to go for everyone this time. They were going for the mailman. They were going for the janitor. They were going for everyone. Because even if these men don't have money, the companies that they work for have money. You're going to have women working at McDonald's banding together, claiming that they go through excessive amounts of unwanted attention and behavior, and it's been happening for years. How McDonald's and other companies have responded is by separating women and men and shifts. So, for example, you'll often have shifts where only women are working, and then you'll have shifts where men work. But because it's a little difficult because women outnumber men greatly in these fields. But they've tried. They've tried their best to keep men and women separated in these fields, and it doesn't matter. Women are going to go after everyone. They're going to go after the general manager. They're going to go after the guy who scrubs the floors. They're going to go after the guy who repairs the ice cream machine, because it's not about extracting wealth and resources from the broke man. It's about using the broke man and saying that the broke man is responsible for some act that he really isn't, to go after the large companies and say that and seek out large amounts of money. You're going to see it. You're going to see all these, just like they were able to fight for 20, and the next goal is fight for 30. They're going to be fighting for millions of women who've been working in fast food and have had these experiences. And then you're going to have McDonald's settling for $500 million or $1 billion, one of the largest settlements in American history. And then they're all going to get their cut from that, which may work out to maybe $10,000, $20,000. It really depends on how many women. But the thing is that it's probably going to be a lot of women. You're probably going to have thousands of women getting a cut from this, maybe tens of thousands. And as a result of that, the amount of money each woman gets individually won't be enough to live off. They're going to spend that money, will be gone within 1 year. In many cases, it will be gone within a few months. Some cases, it will be gone within a month, within a single month, maybe even a single week. Okay. And they'll be right back to where they were to begin with. And they're going to try to rinse and repeat and, go after a woman who, because a lot of women, if they work at McDonald's, they've also worked at Burger King, they've also worked at Pizza Hut, and they're just going to try to go from one place to another place to another place. And even while these women are the same people that saying that they don't want disclosure agreement, they demand that companies don't have them sign non-disclosure agreements. When it comes to the settlement, they're going to demand that there's that there's something that protects them, so that the terms of the settlement cannot be discussed. And McDonald's, of course, will agree to that, because they're going to want to say, yeah, they're going to want to put it on, swipe it under the rug and try to just wash their hands of it. And then the women, on the other hand, the ones who've done this, they'll be able to go and rinse and repeat. So other companies won't even know that they received the settlement, and they'll just go and rinse and repeat it and try to keep on just suing one company after another after another. But eventually they're going to run out of people to sue, they're going to run out of people to take advantage of, and the amounts of money that they're going to get is just not going to be worth it. And it's like, it's finding a lawyer that's going to do this. And they're going to find themselves alone. They're going to find themselves in horrible situations. And they're still going to have these attitudes like, I'm a boss, babe. I deserve this. I deserve that. I'm in my soft girl era. I deserve a life of luxury and comfort. And they're never going to stop. They're never, ever going to stop. They're going to keep on pushing this toxic stuff, and they're going to go after everyone. They're going to be the same women who are going to be raging and hollering and screaming are also going to be the same ones who see that they deserve the best man in the entire world and that are on this crazy stuff. They're never guys. I told you years ago, there was a video I watched. This was years ago. There was a woman living in a storm drain. So this guy, there are people who live in storm drains, like they basically live in the sewers. And this guy who films, because these places are dangerous. They're normal people living in there, like former lawyers and people who had careers, and they basically just ended up, in a lot of trouble. But then you also have people who are using substances. It could be dangerous down there. So this guy, he went, he got permission to go in there and to film. It's dangerous. And he went into the storm drain and basically a sewer in the United States. And he met some people down there. And for the most part, the men were okay. Like, the men that were living in these places, they were okay. But the interviewer ran into a woman down there, and he ended up going off on her. No, keep in mind, he really is not supposed to be down there. But he ran into this woman down there who agreed to be interviewed, and he went off on her. Dude went off on her because she pissed him off so bad with her delusion that he flipped out on her. He basically started interviewing her and asking her, how did she end up living down there? And she basically told him where she was coming from. Like, I don't know, like she may have been like a secretary or something. And she was like in her 50s now, pushing 60. And she was living in the storage drain for a while, in the sewers for a while. And trying to figure, and basically she said that, she's not going to compromise. She knows what she deserves. She knows the kind of man that she deserves. And she's not going to compromise. She's not going to wait. She's not going to accept just any man in her life. It's basically, and the dude just flipped out on her. He was like, Cynthia, are you out of your mind? You are living in a storm drain. Do you understand where you are? Do you understand what this is? I'm not going to compromise. I'm not going to compromise. I know who I am. I know my worth. Dude, you are dirty right now. You are covered in filth. You are living in the sewers, okay? There is a rat over there taking a poop. Or if you have you lost your mind? Look around. And you've been here for years and you don't want to compromise? Cynthia, you're almost 60. Bro went in on her. Like, it was like the level of delusion. Have you lost your mind? Okay? You are a homeless person living in the sewers, saying that you are a high value person and you will not compromise for anything less than you deserve. Jesus help us. And this is how a lot of modern women are going to be. Guys, you know what happened with me recently? It kind of just broke me a little bit that this person who hurt me so much had the nerve to reach out to me. Reach out to me after years, 4 years. All right. And, calling me from some like weird number, right? Like, and telling me like, oh, I had lost your number, but I found a picture of it. I found a picture of your number and and I love you. What the hell? What the living hell, guys? Guys, I told you that these women will, when crap hits the fan, they will go around from door to door knocking on the doors. And I'll tell you something. This whole Title IX thing, how Biden has basically brought Title IX back, and so with Title IX, men can no longer, you know, demand that they have a fair trial. They basically can no longer demand that they be treated fairly under Title when with Title IX in effect. So it's basically like, if someone says, hey, you did something on a college campus, you can no longer, turn around and say, well, no, I need to be treated fairly. I need to be given a fair, allowed to explain, present evidence why that's not the case, why I'm not guilty. It's basically a witch hunt. It's 100% a witch hunt. Under Trump, college kids accused of men accused of doing, of having the wrong kinds of relationships with women on campuses were given the right to defend themselves. With his update of Title IX, Biden has taken it away. So Biden's civil rights rollback, he basically rolled it back. And last Friday, the Biden administration followed through on a promise to roll back civil rights for college students accused of misconduct. The new regulations come under Title IX, the federal lawsuit that prohibits discrimination based on gender in education. Set to go into effect in August, they will restore some of the worst excesses introduced when Biden was president under when Biden was vice president under Obama. One of the most concerning is the return of the single investigator model that was barred under Trump. This means one administrator can act as detective, prosecutor, judge, and jury on a Title IX complaint. Justin Dillon, a DC attorney who has represented accused students for a decade, says the rollback, you arrived at truth by asking hard questions, but single investigators have no incentive to do that, which is why they are the worst possible model if you want to get to the truth. This is going to lead to more erroneous outcomes and more lawsuits. Now, guys, I want to tell you something very interesting regarding this. What actually happened recently, not too long ago, is, they tried this crap on a college student, and he went to, I believe it was federal court. And in federal court, the judge basically found that his civil rights were discriminated against. What these universities are trying to do under Title IX is suspend civil rights, right? So they're trying to suspend civil rights. They're trying to suspend constitutional rights. So this guy's constitutional rights were violated, and that's what they basically found when he went to court. And the school had to basically readmit him, and I believe that he sued them afterwards and probably got a ton of money off that lawsuit. But yeah, it was the Fed, they ruled against the school. So what Biden is actually doing is they're basically violating they're basically violating the Constitution and getting away with it. And the interesting thing is that it's not 100%, because we know that there's a precedence of what happens when they do this, and they'll just keep doing it. And then if someone files a lawsuit, if a guy lawyers up, because they're hoping that men won't lawyer up. If a guy lawyers up and they take it to federal court, this is a violation. This is a constitutional violation, and it's 100% discrimination against men. And as a result of that, they're found guilty very quickly. And the universities basically just shell out tons of money, and they don't care. Of course, this is only going to lead to more men avoiding universities, which is hilarious. And as the email pointed out, he said that women will be out for revenge to get their bag. Men are in their soft guy era right now. So here's the great thing: the more that these women do, the worse they behave, guys. This is guys, the writing is on the wall right now. This is hell on earth. So the more that women do in society, while trying to gaslight men and tell men that it's all in their head, the worse it's going to be, because men are in their soft guy era. Men are in their soft guy era right now, and they're only pushing away men even more. All they're doing is the MGTOWs. They're only doing their work for them. They're only doing the work for the MGTOWs, and then telling guys that they're crazy. The simp economy, it's moving overseas. The simp economy over the last 10 years is online. It's entirely online right now. It exists entirely online, and now it's moving overseas because they're seeing the success that a lot of men are having overseas, And what are they doing? The simps are going overseas. The simps are fleeing overseas. Or they're taking their simping overseas. They're simping for foreign women. Now you have to understand something. There are only like right around 150 or just over 150 million women in the United States. So let's say, and and we have to remember that like some of those, not all of those women are like adults. So it's think of it carefully. The United States only has like 150 million women, but there's over 8 billion people on the planet. There's 4 billion women on the planet. So guys, use the math. 150 million women in the US with bad attitudes, or 4 billion women on the planet. And keep in mind, men in Western society are the tallest of all men in the world. They tend to be less demanding than men in other countries, so they're more forgiving. And socioeconomically, and from an education and skill set point of view, they're also the highest skilled and highest earning men in the world. Even guys who make only $30,000 a year, $30,000 versus most men in the world, that puts them in the top 1%. And a lot like Southeast Asia, South America, East Asia, South America, countries like India. Come on, guys. This puts, if a woman making $3,000 a year in the Philippines is making a relatively good salary and enough to provide for herself, her family, take care of herself, live well. $3,000 a year. Okay? While a lot of people can't even survive on that in the US. And that's how it is in many countries in the world, including Africa. A lot of countries in Africa. All right? So when you take this into consideration, and you look at the average man is looking at his options and saying, yeah, my options are much better outside of Western society. You only live once. I'm leaving. I'm not going to put up with the nonsense here. And as women are pushing men away in Western society, guys, if men want to go to college, you know what guys are going to do now? They're going to go overseas unless they can do their entire program online. Unless they can take the entire program online, they are going to go overseas. They're going to start leaving the country and going to college in other countries. Oh, you want to go to medical school? Okay, I'm going to go to medical school overseas. And people say, well, there are consequences to doing that. It'll be harder to get a residency. Yeah, but guess what? Less stress, fewer problems. And, if it's, we'll see what happens after that. That's it. It'll be a lot cheaper. So I'll graduate with much less debt and way fewer problems. This is the reality of it. It's the 100% reality. Medical school, dental school, engineering, even to study computer science. Either they'll do it entirely online, use a program like Arizona State, because most people learn nothing in school anymore these days. Most people are learning everything on their own. Okay? And after the events of 2020, so many classes moved entirely online that we live in a very different world now. So these men will not step foot on a college campus. If they do want to go to school, if they do want to get a college degree, they will do it online or they will do it in another country. Just like when it comes to dating and relationships and marriage. If they want to date, they will date outside of the United States. If they want to marry, they will marry outside of the United States. They will not date, they will not marry in the United States. They will not go to school in the United States. Okay? That's the reality. And when it comes to their money, they will live below their means, spend as little money as possible in the United States. And when they want to spend their money, they'll spend their money outside of the United States. That's the reality that we now have. Okay? You've got these broke girls out here trying to destroy more lives, and they don't realize that there's not much left. Simps are cowards. The Simps are basically in hiding right now. Guys, don't forget I have another channel called Angry, where I discuss gaming, anime, geek stuff, nerd stuff, real world stuff, and whatever else interests me. There's a link to it in the description of the video. Go check it out, subscribe to the channel, support my work. And if you're enjoying the content on this channel and want even more Angry Guy videos, you can head over to the Men Walking Away channel. There's a link to it in the description of the video. I discuss more topics like the topic you're listening to right now on the Men Walking Away channel, and I put out daily videos there. So if you want even more Angry Guy content, head over to Men Walking Away. There's a link to the Men Walking Away channel description video. Go check it out. Subscribe to the channel. Support my work. Enjoy the content. Guys, what do you think regarding this? Broke girls are M2ing their friends now. What are your thoughts on this? Let's talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, Men Walking Away. And cheers.